KUAM Sports is brought to you by Docomo Pacific. Better together.
America's pastime is, of course, baseball, my friends. Is there anything better than to be out on a sunny island day in the outfield where you got the grass underneath your feet? You could be on the mound. You could be in the dugout. These are amazing experiences. And my friend Steve Guerrero is joining me like right now, getting kids involved at a very young age with Little League, Guam's smallest slugger. So, Steve, Hafa Happy New Year, man. Good to see you as always.
Oh, thank you, Jason. It's always nice to come on your show and try to expand sports, particularly baseball in my in my own desire. It's always been ever since I played the sport back, and I even have a picture back in 1966. I have a picture of us, the Dedido Cubs, and of course my dad. Yeah, and my dad was one of the founders of Little League back then. So yeah, he was our coach, and a lot of the other guys, they were all from Dedido. They weren't from anywhere else. They were all from the village of Dedido, and we took the sport and tried to grow it. But a lot of them left, but I'm still here, try to push it.
Well, the passion burns bright with you, and it starts with you, but it's filtered down to the parents and to the young athletes. So Little League is still going on right now. Of course, Guam is like the ultimate place where baseball can thrive, because kind of like spring training, you can play anytime here, and from
Absolutely.
Jigo all the way to Humatek. I mean, there's always a place where you can play, go outside, have a catch, what have you. So what do we got to do to make sure that kids are aware of the opportunities available for them on the diamond, and then get them out so that they can start participating?
Well, every season what we do is we try to announce, the upcoming season that Little League is going to sponsor. Our Little League announcement was out in I believe the Post and PDN about 2 weeks ago, and we've gotten a lot of increase from parents that wanting to enroll their kids. We also asked the kids and the coaches. A lot of the coaches are actually teachers in the school system. We asked them to spread the word out, in the school, and let them know that the season is starting, and for these kids to come out and play. One of the biggest challenges we're beginning to see is that a lot of the kids kind of procrastinate. They kind of wait until the minute we tell them that the season's going to start. Oh man, they're all flocking to the field. They want to join, and like, the teams are filled to the max on their roster, et cetera, et cetera. So we try to help them, and then we can. We have this philosophy in Little League that I instilled many years ago, is that we don't turn any kid away. And if we have to build or form another team just to accommodate 8, 9 more kids, we will do that. We try to do our best to do it. And like I said, it's word of mouth that we do. And, we're in a small community. And what I'm beginning to notice over the years is that, there's a lot of other sports out there that are available to our youth. And my goal is just to get the youth involved in some sort of sport. It's good, it's healthy, it's good for the mind, and it keeps them off the streets. Just make sure they just go that straight line. But my program, the Little League program, really, 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 really depends a lot on parents. We need the parents to bring the kids out. And a lot of the kids, we get it. They're told that, oh yeah, we want to play, but my mom and dad are too busy to take me to practice, kind of stuff, So we try to figure out how we can work around that. But we do our best, man, to get the word out there through the schools, through the media, word of mouth, and even through other sports.
Well, okay, so and I appreciate, Steve, how you actually said that it gets kids off the streets, and lets them make good life choices. I mean, there's a lot of analogies about life lessons that you learn from playing baseball, but maybe speak specifically to the young athletes. Like if kids are watching this right now and they say, my cousin plays baseball, or like I've seen it at the Harmon fitness center and everything, people are playing baseball. Speak to little kids about, if they've never played or they've thought about playing, why should they consider getting involved in Little League?
Well, one thing about Little League is that if they look at the end game on baseball itself, we had a conversation even before we got on the air about how some guys are really, really lucky, and that if they follow their true love of the sport, or just invest their time in something, they'll find that a lot of them, they think, oh, they're not baseball material. But once they get on the field, they find out, when they challenge themselves, hey, they're pretty good. They got this hidden talent. and just going through the playing the game really finds out, brings out the true self. They never thought they could play. And I got a lot of guys that before told me, "Oh man, Mr. Girl, if I didn't really start Little League, I'll never be where I am today." And a lot of them are playing in the junior national team, they're playing in the Guam Amateur, and they're playing in the Guam Major League. And
conversely, there's a lot of young athletes like I was when I was young. I was like, oh yeah, like I played basketball, I can pick up baseball, and then you realize it's a lot more skill dependent than you might consider. So even if you think you're like a top flight athlete, baseball will challenge you.
Oh, absolutely. And like I said, and like I said, you'll never know until you try. So like in the game of baseball, there's we have our limitation in baseball, because as much as we want to promote the game, we try to get guys to come out, get kids to try to play the game. A couple of factors really hamper us here locally. Although Guam is an ideal place to play baseball all year round, half of the year it's raining. And unlike football, unlike rugby, you can play in a wet field. In baseball, you need a dry field.
Rain
and that's
delay.
one of our challenges. Yeah, and that's one of our challenges. But we seem to get around. I mean, we seem to be able to get around that particular obstacle and still have these games. But
and
the only thing I can
tell, to be fair though, for every game on Guam that there is a rain delay for, and the game's got to be canceled, you've also got those irreplaceable memories of I remember playing a double header, and that was so much fun. But just being out there with my friends, for the entire afternoon, playing 2 games, and then everybody went out for pizza afterwards.
Absolutely, and like that, like they say, and I see it all the time. They'll come to the field. Next, it pours. I mean, out of nowhere, how it is in Guam. 1 minute it's nice and sunny, next minute it's storming, raining. So a lot of the guys will sit in the dugout, they'll talk stories, that 10, 15, 20 years ago. And and that's really, for me, it's really nice. And when I start to hear that, it kind of tells me, it solidifies their commitment to the game, because rain or shine, these guys will show. But we need to get the word out to the younger kids, because it's like any sports. These guys, these kids, they get older, and sooner or later it's a cutoff. It's like a cliff kind of concept that when you get to a certain point, you're just going to drop. But if we don't get people or kids to come and fill and replace them, throughout the years, in 5, 10, 15 years ago, the program will die. So that's we're constantly have this battle trying to get young kids into the program, because it's the young kids that's going to push and maintain the program. Mm-hmm. What the biggest challenges in every sport that I'm hearing also here on Guam is coaches. We need coaches to come out. And I'm telling these guys that had the opportunity to play the game when they had coaches and stuff like that. Every sport that I'm hearing, one of the biggest problems is getting coaches.
That is astonishing, considering how many, and with us as Guamanians, we always like to come back and give back, yes. And pass down the lessons that were passed down to us.
Yeah. Times have changed, Jason, at least for the adults. Back then, I guess, like I'm talking about 20, 30 years ago, it was like an honor to coach in any sport here on Guam. And a lot of guys wanted, they put out the effort, they came out and volunteered their time and stuff like that. But over the last, I would say 10, 15 years, it's changed. The atmosphere has changed, and a lot of our
you mentioned certain names in Guam sports history. Hal Shiroma, Alts Tasuli, yes. Ernie Abanen.
Absolutely, yes.
People like this.
Yeah, exactly. And those guys were here. They were the foundation of sports. And any Shiroma is football. Al Tasuli is baseball. Tony Siswika was basketball. Yep. Brave Tapasnia was basketball. All the old timers. But they've since gone. Yeah, they have since gone, and now we're stuck. Like, who's going to replace them? So we got some guys coming out. I really like EJ Calvo does basketball, so he's kind of like the guy, pushing the charge. Baseball. We got several guys that are pushing it. But there's not one person that's really taking charge and running with this. But like going back to what I was saying with the younger guys is that nowadays our younger guys, and when I say younger, I'm talking about 20, 30, 40-year-olds. I don't know if it's just the environment or just the way we are, is they need to work. Their priorities, they need to go work, and they need to, provide for the family, take care of their kids and stuff like that. So it's a lot more challenging now for these guys to have that extra time to come out and coach. And I'll tell you, I got 2 mayors right now are telling me, Steve, find me coaches. I have the entrance fee. I have the kids, but I have no coaches to coach these kids, into the program. And it's been like that, Jason, for the last 4 or 5 years for me. And I'm reaching out to the old baseball players, the GML guys, the
Yeah.
amateur guys. Hey, guys, man, you got to give back now. These kids are here; they want to play, but no coaches. I can't do it. I got one guy in my program. His name is Kevin Acosta. He's been with me for about 4 or 5 years. He coaches 2 or 4 teams every season. One guy,
Hmm.
So he needs help. He needs help. So when he's at the home plate, home dugout. His other team is in the visitors dugout, and they're looking at each other like, "Hey, didn't I see you last night at practice?" But
Well,
the
how about we
devotion.
do this, Steve? Rather than say this has been a roadblock to Guam athletics, let's say it's an opportunity. So anybody watching this right now, if you have a love for sport and you want to positively influence the lives of young Guamanians, definitely
Mhm.
give Steve a call. I mean, your talents and your talents are
Absolutely.
sorely needed, and you can contribute to Guam sports in a very very meaningful way.
Yes, and like I said, if there's anybody out there that wants to be part of our program in any capacity, Little League is a 100% volunteer program, Guam and national, worldwide. Nobody really gets paid, with the exception, of course, of the umpires, paying them a little fee just for their services. But
Mm.
totally, the program is 100% volunteer. And Jason, it's hard to get people to come out to volunteer their time, to an extent where it's needed to move the program. But if I can just get one person, 2 people to come out and just play a little part, an integral part in the program to move it forward, that's all I do. And all I need is maybe 4, 5, 10 guys to do that. I don't expect them to come give me 100%, but 5, 10, 15%, if you add it up, it's a lot.
And you know
And
what's going to bring that first generation out, Steve? I would predict is the love of the game, and from that you're
yes,
going to see, and people are going to share that love, and that's going to spread like a wildfire, and then hopefully the community will get back to its glory days in baseball.
Absolutely.
Because
And
I
like
grew
I
up
said,
knowing like how popular, and I mean it was a treat just to go to a GML game, or like my dad would take me to go watch a GCC Tradesman when they were like dominant, and I was like, this is amazing.
oh yeah, yeah, and like I said, when well, my age and your age, when we go back and we reflect and we kind of like reminisce about the old days, they were fantastic. They were fun days.
Continental Golden Jets, man.
Absolutely, absolutely. I didn't want to go to. I didn't want to go to. I didn't want to reveal my age when you said golden days, but I said, yeah, what the heck, But yeah, they were fun days, and I wouldn't trade them for the world. But I'm trying to not relive it, but I'm just trying to keep it going. Keep that momentum going, keep the excitement, keep the treasure moments alive with today's kids. With the sports of today. And one thing about Guam, and it's a challenge for all sports is, unlike 20, 30 years ago, there was only several sports. You can count them on one hand. Nowadays, there's a lot. And, the kids at least have an opportunity and a choice to get involvement in some sport, not just the 5 or 6 that we used to have before. But all I'm saying is that kids, get out there, get involved in sports. It's a healthy thing. It prevents you from getting yourself in trouble. And there's, if you have the desire and the love for it, you never know where it's going to take. It's endless. It's
Mhm.
endless. And we've gotten a couple of kids locally, a couple of guys that ended up playing, at least for baseball, in the majors.
And
So,
trust me, young people, until you actually turn a 6-4-3 double play, you have no idea what true happiness is.
Absolutely.
Once you pull one of those off and everything like that, the world completely opens up to you. So
Yeah,
so
and one thing
Steve,
about baseball, it's not an individual sport, it's a team sport.
yes.
And you got to work together. You lose, you suffer
Mhm.
together. You win, you enjoy, all the victories that comes with it.
Okay, so in conclusion, Steve, where can people reach out to you and get in contact with you, either if they have any questions or if they say, I watched your segment on YouTube and you and Jason were talking and everything like that, and I want to get involved?
Sure. They can call me directly. My phone number is, of course, area code 671-482-9060. You can call me anytime. I'm up to 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, so don't worry about the time. I'm like I said, ever since we actually had our
He's
ad
working on the
posted
budget, everybody. Trust me, he would rather talk baseball than jam out the budget.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, the budget season, the baseball season go hand in hand. They're at the same time, so I'm kind of like really
Oh
juggling my
my
time.
God, I can't even imagine
Yeah, but it is what it is, and like I said, it's
Well,
for
go
me,
take your
it's
blood
kind of
pressure
a
pills
norm.
and think about baseball.
I hear you. Absolutely.
Well, Steve, we sincerely appreciate, what you have done and what you continue to do, for such a great game here on the island. And we're not going to let that pass by. We're definitely going to make some positive change.
I appreciate, Jason. Anything your program can do to help promote the game of baseball, man, just let me know what I can do to do that.
Hey, we're here to help, man, because baseball needs to live on Guam because it's such a good memory. So Steve Garreau with Little League, let's keep baseball going on Guam. All right, Steve, thank you very much.
Thank you. Take care.
KUAM Sports is brought to you by Docomo Pacific. Better together.